Any one person can make some kind of a difference. And it reminded me of that old story of Joseph. You know what I'm talking about? I was doing this in Utah. They had a whole nother Joseph going on for the longest time. I'm talking about the original Joseph. The one with the coat. Remember that guy? He had the coat and he had the brothers, and the brothers didn't like their brother Joseph very much. Not just because he had the coat, but they was pretty sure that their pop liked Joseph more than them. They might have been right. I didn't read it that carefully. But it seemed like one day the brothers got up early in the morning every day like they did going down the road feeding the flocks or whatever. And Joseph must have slept in that morning because his pop come on down there and say, "Joseph, why aren't you down the road helping your brothers? Why are you hanging around the house?" I'm paraphrasing, obviously, as well as translating. Joseph said, "Oh, okay." So he goes down the road, and but he goes to where his brothers are supposed to be, but they're not there. Now, the Bible says that there's a man. He doesn't have a name, just an anonymous dude standing in the field just like this saying, "They went that way." Joseph said, "Oh, thank you." He goes down the road, sure enough, runs into his brothers. Meanwhile, the brothers been plotting against him the whole time. Some say, "Let's do this to him." Some say, "No, let's do that to him." They can't make up their mind, but somehow Joseph ends up sold into slavery in a caravan going down to Egypt. He gets down there, ends up in a cell in a prison with a couple of big bruisers. Nothing changes. Not only that, one of these bad guys having some bad dreams, like it ain't bad enough in there. But Joseph is good with dreams. So Joseph straightened out the guy. And the guy said, "Joseph, if I ever get out of here, I'll do something for you. I'll help you out." Sure enough, the guy gets out. Forgets about his buddy Joseph. Start rising up in the ranks, getting close to the Pharaoh or something. A few years goes by. One day the Pharaoh starts having weird dreams. He calls for his pipe and his fiddlers three, whatever. They come on out there. They can't think of nothing. Now everybody in Egypt is nervous. The Pharaoh's got the strange look in his eye, having weird dreams. Nobody knows what's going on. We've been there. All of a sudden, this guy said, "Wait a minute. I know somebody is good with dreams." He remembers his buddy Joseph. He goes down, he gets him. He brings him up to the Pharaoh, introduce him. You know, Joe, Pharaoh, Pharaoh Joe. The Pharaoh started talking about the dream. Joseph said, "Oh, that's easy. You're going to have 7 good years of rain be falling, wheat fields waving in the wind, but it's going to be followed by 7 bad years where the rain going to quit and the wheat field turned to dust and blows away. It's going to be bad." And the Pharaoh said, "Whoa." And he looked around. He said, "Fiddlers, you out of here." He said, "You guys didn't do nothing. Joe, you the man." And he put Joseph in charge of everything. And Joseph started building some granaries to put some stuff aside during the good time in case the bad time should come. You know, like what he's talking. And sure enough, it comes. It's bad. It's not just bad in Egypt. It's bad all over, everywhere. So back at the farm, Pop and the boys are sitting around saying, "It's bad." Pop said, "Why don't some of you boys go down to Egypt, see what they're doing?" So he sent a few of the boys down to Egypt. To make a long story short, they run into their brother Joseph. He said, "Hey, it's me, Joseph." They're going, "Uh-oh." He said, "Don't worry about that. Go home. Get Pop, the women, the children, the flocks, and everybody. Bring them on down to Egypt. We'll be living half the hog." Not the words he would have used. But sure enough, that's what they did. Moved on down there, living generation after generation, doing pretty good till one year they got a bad crop of pharaohs. It happens. I didn't mean to get that far. That's Moses. That's a whole different story. But I've been doing this over 40 years. I know how the man feels. I just hope it doesn't take another 40 years to get somewhere. Of course, that's what happened to them. But out of that comes some good stuff. You know, David and Goliath. I liked that when I was a kid. That was a good one. And out of that family come Jesus later on. What? Now it's a couple of thousand years after that. I mean, there's a lot of history I've just been through here in a very short amount of time. And there might be any one part of this history. There might be a lot of people out here tonight that have a lot to say about any one part of it. But I'm here to remind all of you tonight that all of this history, every single piece and part of it, depends upon one unknown, anonymous dude standing in a field saying, "They went that way." Without that guy, there's no Joseph. Without Joseph, there's no Israel. There's no Egypt. There's no Moses, Pharaoh, David, Goliath, Jesus. If you ever wondered what one person could do in this world, wonder no more. You don't have to know nothing. You could just be standing around. Somebody say, "Which way to go?" You can say, "They went that way." And the whole freaking world could hinge on you.